Hey guys, Stefan Fischer here from All of Road. Thank you for joining me today. In today's video I will have a look at the Ecoflow Delta Max, a 2000 watt inverter, portable battery bank and solar charger, which I now used for the past few months, and recently took it for a 1-week camping trip with the kids where I plan to use it for induction cooking. So stay tuned because I'll tell you how I went and whether I was successful. For a full disclaimer, Ecoflow provided me the Ecoflow Max, a 160 watt Ecoflow solar panel and an Ecoflow Wave portable air conditioner for review and testing purposes. Ecoflow this time agreed to my standard product review and testing terms, which means they have absolutely no influence over anything in this video and I have no obligation in any way beside making a truthful review video. Let me first give you the specs of the Ecoflow Delta Max 2000. The Ecoflow Delta Max is a 166 amp hour, 2000 watt hour portable lithium battery bank with a 2400 watt inverter and a 800 watt 10 amp MPPT solar charger. On the front you have a nice looking display which tells you input and output in watt, the total time to charge or discharge, and the overall battery percentage in 1% increments. It's good readable inside and also outdoors in sunlight. So let's have a look at the ports we have on the front. There are 4 USB-A ports, 2 of them are fast charging with 18 watts. You also have 2 100 watt USB-C fast charging ports, which is brilliant for laptops and other devices which allow fast charging. I complained in the past that most units only have 1 USB-C fast charging port, so it's great to see 2. Furthermore, you have an I/O reset button for the wireless app connection, a button to switch on and off the USB segment, and the overall power on and off button for the unit. On the rear we have the solar input plug, a switch for fast or regular charging, and the 220 volt input. We also have 4 220 volt AC plugs, the AC on and off switch, as well as a 12 volt cigarette lighter port and 2 DC 5521 barrel connectors. You can increase the capacity of the Deltaflow Max with add-on batteries, and there are 2 ports to connect the add-on batteries on the side of the unit. You also have 2 fans on each side of the unit, given that the unit has a 160 amp hour lithium battery, BMS, solar controller, 2400 watt inverter and a 220 volt charger. It is not nimble. The weight is 22 kg, but with the 2 sturdy handles the unit can be carried by my 13-year-old daughter. The overall make and feel of the unit feels very solid, and in particular the handles. So much actually that I use them with a big cable lock to lock the unit to the trailer during the day. Many consumer plastic products suffer from hydrolysis, where the plastic over time reacts to moist air and makes the plastic very sticky and gooey. That often results in the product becoming useless and need to be thrown away. Check out my video about this. While I haven't tested the unit long term, the plastic does not have a rubbery feel and I think hydrolysis will not be an issue with the Ecoflow unit. There are multiple ways to charge the Delta Max. The built-in 220 volt charger can fast charge with around 1900 watts. Which charges the unit from 0 to 80% in a bit more than an hour and from 0 to 100% in under 2 hours. This is certainly the fastest charging battery bank I have seen. However, fast charging does affect battery life, so you also have a regular charging option, recommended for regular use, and you can even further fine-tune the charging input via the Ecoflow app. The unit can also be charged via 12 volt cigarette lighter. The cable is included, but only with 8 amps. If I carry the unit in my 4-wheel drive, I just have it plugged in while driving. Alternatively, you can charge with up to 800 watt of solar with a maximum of 10 amp via the built-in MPPT solar charger. I hooked up 2 200 watt panels in parallel, but did not manage to get more than 380 watt into the unit due to the 10 amp limit. While you can charge via 220 volt and solar at the same time to increase the input to 3400 watt, you unfortunately can't combine solar and car charging as the unit only has one XT60 port. The unit has pass-through charging, which means you can charge and use the unit at the same time. Ecoflow uses a lithium magnesium cobalt oxide lithium chemistry in this battery pack. NMC is widely used in consumer electronics because it has a higher energy density than, for example, LiFePO4. NMC have a cycle life of 800 cycles to reach 80% capacity versus LiFePO4, which has between 2000 and 3000 cycles to reach 80% capacity. NMC is also a little more volatile than LiFePO4. In saying that, if you use the battery for four-wheel driving, weekend trips and maybe for the occasional power outage at home, it should last you many years. I would not consider NMC though, if you plan to use it daily with a lot of charge and discharge cycles. Ecoflow Delta Max also has an app that allows you to control the unit remotely within Wi-Fi range and update the firmware. The app also provides access to many settings you can't access via the unit itself. The configuration options you have within the app are great. The app is reasonably well designed, however, it uses Wi-Fi instead of Bluetooth, and it often took me quite a few attempts to get connected to it, and to update the firmware I also needed a few attempts. So device pairing could be improved. However, overall I think the app is great and the features of the app are class leading. Let me show you a little how I use the Ecoflow Delta Max over the past 3 months. 1500, 1450 watts, so absolutely no issue. It goes up to 2600 occasionally. Let's now see whether we can do both. So now I'm running the coffee machine and the microwave, and I can run both at the same time. That's incredible. I even can run the hairdryer at the same time. You see the water starts cooking here. That's impressive. At the moment I'm using 1400 watt. Oh shit, that's so quick here. Honestly, that is just nuts. That is brilliant how quick that goes. Offloading the footage. Ecoflow Max, powering everything. 40 degrees outside, so that's the Ecoflow Wave. That is the Ecoflow Max at 2000 watt. Let's switch that on. Not that much juice in. See how long that runs here. So we want to a bit cool. Now 27 inside. That's pretty hot. So, and it's actually not using that much. What? Oh, now it's coming. 150 watt? That's not bad. That gives me here a nice cool breeze. Ecoflow in my studio as well here to charge my laptop, iPad and as well the cameras. Depending how hot it is outside and how often I open my fridge, it would run my fridge freezer at home, I reckon, for around 24 hours. Not long ago I purchased a 2000 watt induction cooker, mainly for testing purposes in the studio. For a recent 1-week camping trip with my kids and camper trailer, I thought I'd take the Ecoflow Max and the induction cooker to see what the hype about induction cooking is about. To be honest, I thought induction cooking while camping is a bit of a wank and was very surprised at how much I actually enjoyed it. Having instant heat, not being hampered by wind or fire bans, plus the fast cooking time made me really appreciate induction cooking way more than I thought. While I have a 150 amp DCS lithium in the camper trailer, I only have a 1500 watt Victron Multi Plus inverter, and that tripped out trying to run the induction cooker. The Ecoflow Delta Max, on the other hand, did run it easily, and I ended up using the induction cooker 3 to 4 times a day for cooking, coffee and brekkie. Together with 400 watt of solar to recharge, I had no issues keeping this setup going for a week, even with a fair bit of clouds around. So my verdict of the Ecoflow Delta Plus 2000 for induction cooking, it is absolutely brilliant. One thing we have to speak about is the noise the Ecoflow Delta Max makes. It is a battery bank with a 2400 watt inverter. It has a 2000 watt built-in AC/DC charger. So any unit with this kind of power out and input will need something to cool it down. And the Ecoflow Delta Max has 4 fans, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they pretty much have 3 settings. Settings number 1 is off, which it is at the moment. Setting number 2 is low, and then setting number 3 is high. The fans have no variable speed, which could adjust with the amount of load it has, and that could definitely be an issue. I, for example, could not use the unit in my studio if the fan is running. Would be simply too loud. I also could not see myself sleeping next to the unit or very close by, because it would be too loud. That is something you need to take into consideration. However, I think you will have the same issue with any unit with high in and output. So with fast charging, it took only 2 or 3 minutes and the fans are on. So let me even on low power mode, the fan does switch on fairly quickly. So charging with low power mode is not a solution to keep the noise from the fans down. No electronic consumer device is perfect, so there are pros and cons. Let me first go over the things I really like on the unit. I like that the unit is well designed. It's reasonably portable for the capacity and power output, and I like the 2 solid handles because that allows me to lock the unit down to my camper trailer. I do like the wireless app and functionality the unit has. The Delta Max can be used as a UPS, that means you can charge it and also discharge it at the same time. However, it has a 30 millisecond delay. A usual UPS has only an 8 millisecond delay, so it's probably not suitable for computers or the likes. I like that the already pretty high output inverter with 2400 watt can be further boosted up to 3000 watt. That is not suitable for really sensitive devices, but for heater or microwave it seemed to work quite well for me. I like the many charging options and especially the ultra fast charging, which would allow 2000 watt via the AC/DC charger, and then you could add another 800 watt with solar charging at the same time. I also really like that that's adjustable and you can really decide how fast you want to charge, because fast charging affects the longevity of the battery. It's great to see that a solar charging cable as well as a 12-volt charging cable is included in the unit. I also like that the unit doesn't have an AC charging brick. That's all built in the unit. So you only need a standard 220 volt cable and you can plug the unit in to any outlet. The unit comes with a 24 months warranty and you can extend that with another 12 months by registering it. So let's now go over the things which I think could be improved on the Ecoflow Delta Max. I found the wireless app a little bit tricky. It doesn't have Bluetooth, so it connects via wireless, and I often needed quite a few attempts to get my app connected to the Ecoflow Delta Max, so I think that could be improved. The 4 fans are fairly noisy and have no variable speed, but maybe there is a way to quieten down the fans or have a variable output and maybe have a quiet mode, for example, that I could use it here in the studio. The NCM lithium battery cells are not ideal for daily use. So I wouldn't recommend the unit if you have high charge and discharge every day, because then the 800 cycles will really come into play and you just don't have the longevity you, for example, would have with a live PO4 unit. For the fans and many input and output ports, you need access to all 4 sides. It would be nice if that could be reduced maybe only to the front or to the front and rear. So it's not really a unit which you can easily say put into a compartment. You will need access to pretty much 3 sides of the unit. The operating temperature is up to 45 degrees, so that should be alright for Australian conditions. But again, it's something to take into account if you use the unit for camping and travel with it. You can extend the unit with 2 additional batteries. However, that batteries are quite expensive considering they are only extension batteries and don't have the other functionality in. Well, the price, $3,599, but if you consider it, especially say for 4-wheel driving, I think it's actually quite well priced, because you get a 2400 watt inverter, you get a 800 watt MPPT solar controller, you get a 166 amp hour lithium battery, all the input and output ports, and that is all without any cabling. If you would do a fixed install with the similar features in your car and have an electrician install it, it would be way more expensive. So given that this is a 4-wheel drive channel, the question is the Ecoflow Delta Max 2000 watt suitable for 4-wheel driving and camping? I think it definitely is if you're not a serial camper like I am. For me, where I tour several months every year, I want to have everything fixed installed in the car, and I don't want to carry such a big battery bank with me. However, if you are someone who goes camping a few times a year and you don't want to have a full lithium setup in the car, I think it is a great alternative to a fixed battery pack. The money you would have to spend to get a good quality 160 amp hour lithium battery, 2400 watt inverter, solar controller, not to mention all the wiring and so on you would need in the car, especially if you let someone professional do that. I think it is actually a very cost-effective option for someone who is just camping from time to time. The added benefit obviously is that it is mobile. You can move it from car to car. You can use it inside the house if you ever have a power outage. So I think the Ecoflow Delta Max is a great unit to have around the house and also for camping. Personally, I will definitely keep the Ecoflow Delta Max, and it has replaced my Bluetti EB150, which I used to have as a bigger unit around. I just sold that now, and the Ecoflow Delta Max has taken its place because it's just far more versatile and powerful. Ecoflow also provided me one of their 160 watt solar panels. And I have tested it on the last camping trip, and for a 160 watt panel it's pretty good. It has a very high output, but we never had really clear sky without any clouds, so I quickly want to give it another go and see how much we get out of that unit. I think the unit is pretty good. The quality feels very nice. That includes the bag. It has a very nice rhino coating, similar to the Red Arc ones. If you have a very shiny solar blanket without that rhino coating, that causes disturbances of the material fairly quickly, and that will reduce then the power output. So this is very good. It has a very good feel. The only thing I don't like is that the output is here on top. I would prefer if that would have been down here, so you always have to watch a bit that it doesn't obstruct the panel. The Ecoflow is on 67%, and that is in full sun now. And at the moment I'm getting in 140 watt, 145. That is pretty good. Yeah, now I'm getting 155 watt out of these 160 watt panel. More, 163, 164. So that actually delivers more than advertised. That is very rare for a solar panel. So the solar panel comes with a kind of stand I'm not a big fan of, but I thought I'd show you how it works. You have two loops here. It also came with the carabiner hooks. So now you set up your panel like this, and then you hook in the carabiners here. So while I can't give you a long-term review yet, the Ecoflow blanket feels very high quality and well made. It is also the only solar panel I have come across so far which exceeds the advertised output. I do feel though 160 watt is undersized for the Ecoflow Delta Max, and I would recommend at least 200, but better 300 watt. So my final conclusion, I think the Ecoflow Delta Max 2000 is a great unit. I certainly will keep it. I probably even carry it on the occasional trip with the camper trailer so that I can do the induction cooking. It is definitely the most powerful and best battery bank I have tested so far. And as long as you don't use it on a daily basis with high discharge and recharge, it will last you a long time. The one thing which would make it the absolute perfect unit for me would be if it was Live PO4 with around 2,000 to 3,000 cycles down to 80%. But on the other hand, even with NMC, it probably lasts me 5, 6, 7 years. And by then we have a different battery technology. The whole market has moved on, and it's probably time for a new one anyway. As I said before, this is not a paid review. Ecoflow won't see the video before it is released, and they absolutely have no input on the content of this video. However, Ecoflow did provide me an affiliate link, so if you consider purchasing one of the unit, it would help me and the channel if you use that link, because I get a few dollars if you do that. So thank you very much. I hope the video was useful to you. As always, this is a self-funded hobby of mine, so you could really help me by sharing and subscribing. And even better, if you can afford, maybe head over to Patreon or buy me a coffee. And with the equivalent of a cup of coffee or two per month, you can really help me staying independent and making these videos for you. Thank you very much, and I hope I see you along the tracks.